Hey, welcome to A Dose of Optimism. This is a show where I share my 6 simple tools for living a more optimistic lifestyle. I'm your host, Angela Wright. What are the 6 simple tools? Motivation, inspiration, empowerment, faith, love, and of course, health and wellness. How many of you know of a family member that has been affected with heart disease? Or how many of you know of a family member that has died of heart disease? Tonight we're going to be talking about health and wellness. February is Women's Heart Health Month. And last week, part 1 of the Love Your Heart series, we focused on some of the emotional ways to keep healthy. We discussed meditation, doing deep breathing to lower your stress and relaxing. We talked about laughing, hanging out, socializing with your friends and family, doing things that make you feel good. And most importantly, we talked about letting go of negative energy and learning to forgive. Because we all know when you forgive, you release the negative energy that affects your health. So those are some of the emotional aspects that we discussed last week on part 1 of the Love Your Heart series. And this subject, women and heart disease, which is the number 1 silent killer that affects over 50,000 women in New York State alone. I'm going to be shocked. I was shocked when I heard that, listeners. Over 50,000 women in New York State alone has been affected by heart disease. And the reason why I wanted to do a 2-part series and use A Dose of Optimism as a platform, because I'm passionate about this. For me, it hits home. You know, my dear grandmother died of heart disease at the age of 64. That was way too early. And I feel it's important to shed light and bring awareness to the number 1 killer that's affecting women all over. And I believe that when you are aware of something, you have a chance to fight back. So tonight we're going to fight back, and we must take action now. And to help me bring awareness to heart disease in women, I'm so excited. I have a special guest tonight. My guest is Ta'nia Doe. She is the founder of Love Her Heart. It's a campaign that brings awareness to women in heart disease with a focus on African American women. And tonight, Ta'nia will discuss the physical ways to lower your risk in heart disease. Do we have Ta'nia with us tonight? Ta'nia?
Hi.
Hi, welcome to A Dose of Optimism. How are you tonight, Ta'nia?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about being here and with what you're doing with A Dose of Optimism.
Oh, I love it. I think it's important to bring awareness to this number 1 killer that are affecting millions and millions of women. Ta'nia, tell us a little bit about your campaign, Love Her Heart, and the role it plays in women's heart health.
Well, Love Her Heart began from my own personal experience. In the past, I lost my beloved dad and grandmother to heart disease and my mom to a stroke. And recently, I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic with high blood pressure, slightly raised cholesterol, obesity, and was considered a prime candidate for a heart attack. It was then that I decided that getting heart healthy was something I needed to take into my own hands. And how I started with doing extensive research about heart disease, and believe me, I was astounded by the results. Women overall account for more than half of all cardiovascular deaths, and statistics show that in America, approximately every 23 seconds, a woman dies from heart disease. And what was even more shocking to me, Angela, and this I had to take personal, was that 60% of all deaths are African American women. Now that's a lot of mothers,
I was shocked.
daughters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean,
I said I was shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of women in our community. You know, you think about 60%. You know, that's grandmothers, sisters. You know, daughters, aunts, cousins, women that are needed in our community, and that's pretty much what inspired me to start the Love Her Heart campaign.
Ta'nia, I was just as astounded as you were when I was also doing my research and attending the heart health screenings that they have for February all across the city. I was really shocked to see that African American women was the number one ethnic group that died of heart disease, and so I'm just really, really happy that, you know, Love Her Heart is a campaign that actually focuses on African American and in fact a wake-up call to bring awareness to heart disease in African American women. How important is it to bring awareness to African American communities?
Well, unfortunately, African Americans are more prone to develop heart disease and strokes than other cultures, with African American women at a 35% greater risk of dying from heart disease than other women. African American women are also, we account for 77% of all obese women over the age of 20. And the reason why that's so is mostly due to our diets. Traditionally, the African American diet is high in fat, sodium, cholesterol, and bad carbohydrates, which contribute to high risk factors such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, belly fat, you know, family history, and unhealthy lifestyles. You know, now why it's so important to raise awareness is, well, first, you know, the number one being obvious, we can't put a stop to this if we don't raise awareness in it, and two, statistics also show that 68% of white women know that heart disease is the leading killer of women, compared to only 31% of black women. And I seen this firsthand on February 4th, which is Go Red for Women Day. When I went out into my community, I was really excited. I had a big bag of red band bracelets that I, you know, was ready to give out and did give out and was speaking to people. And it was just shocking to me how, I mean, it just wasn't represented in our community. No one knew what Go Red was for. They didn't know how it related to them and their heart health. They didn't know that it was their number one killer. There was no red balloons. There was no red cereal boxes, red yogurt containers, or anything that represent, you know, Go Red for Women, and the fact that, you know, this is our number one killer.
So what are some of the things, Ta'nia, that Love Her Heart is planning on doing or have done to bring awareness to the community? Because those numbers are alarming. You know, awareness is the key. Yeah. So what are the things that, you know, in the community that are doing?
Well, Love Her Heart, what Love Her Heart does is an awareness campaign aimed at raising awareness amongst African American women about heart disease. It supports, educates, and advocates to help African American women live longer, healthier lives. Some of the things that we're doing is, first and foremost, is shedding light on the fact that heart disease is the number one killer. And second, you know, we're setting up free screenings in the community where people could come out and learn their numbers. You know, it's so important that people understand their numbers, which is their blood pressure, their blood sugar, their cholesterol, their BMI, which is their body mass index, their percentage of body fat. Knowing their numbers and knowing what those numbers mean to their heart health. So we're setting up free screenings where people could come out and get this information, find out what their numbers are, find out what those numbers mean to them and what it is that they need to do to